Hello and welcome back to Call Center Helper. My name is Xander Freeman and our latest research has just dropped. Today we're talking all about shift patterns. To help with that conversation, we obviously need someone that knows a lot about WFM. So, with that in mind, I'm so excited to be joined by Phil Anson, CEO of the Forum. Phil, thanks so much for joining me today.
No, no, but no, really enjoy talking about this topic in particular. I think it's really important. It's one that gets a lot of focus in a bit of a cycle of activity. Some people focus on forecasting, and then fortunately, there's a big focus on people, which is flexibility really does there to support that. So yeah, looking forward to talking about this today.
100%. So look, there's so many different directions we could take this data, but let's dive straight in with the 6% fall year on year in contact centers using full-time shifts.
Do you know, it's actually nice to see this one because many organizations still fixate on full-time patterns. So it's quite nice that others are looking to say, actually, we don't need to do that. Depending on what your operating hours are, will often determine whether or not the full-time shift pattern is appropriate. So I think it's good, and it shows hopefully a maturing marketplace of people understanding different types of shift length are really going to support both the customer and most importantly the actual colleagues themselves. So yeah, I think it's good to see that.
But I think, like we've said before, it comes back to knowing what your contact center needs, right? It's not a one size fits all situation. Flexibility is needed in that.
Yeah, and we've seen that over the years. Part-time plays a key part in those little sort of helping of that sort of fitting of a big jigsaw, really. So again, if we're looking beyond just full-time, I think it shows that people are taking a better understanding of how to create working patterns that are right for people and the business.
And I think you can see that in the rest of the data as well. There's a few different points we could pull out here, but let's start with split shifts seeing an increase this year. I think that's a great example of something that's quite situational, but it won't work for every contact center. But when it works for you, it will work really well for you.
Yeah, situational, I think, is a great word to describe this because yeah, it's why is the split shift useful for the individual? Because invariably it'll be great for the business, have those pockets of time in different places. So yeah, if it's on site, if it's in a city centre, that can work for some individuals. If you're working from home, this can work as well. What we always find with split shifts is that it's never right for everyone. And if you think, oh, it's not right for me, I'm not even going to ask anyone else, definitely you won't be able to implement it. But if you speak to your people, you find it actually is very useful. And again, not for everyone all of the time. It can be quite tactical on certain days of the week at certain times of the year. But keep that choice there because invariably it is hugely useful for you as a business. So again, really good to see that more organisations are taking a chance with it really because I think it's a great flexibility toolkit technique.
I think so. And then I think if you look at the wider data as well, you're starting to see a few newer bits and pieces coming in for the first time. So,
Hmm.
staircase or step shifts coming in for the first time this year. It's the first time it's made an appearance in our data. When we're talking about a sort of complex strategy here, it's great to see new things coming in and the situation evolving.
Yeah, definitely. And again, these are the things that sometimes people veer away from because there is often a level of manual administration around them to keep a track of it. But again, it's worth it. It's worth to spend the time on that if you're going to get a gain because it's great for the individual and it's great for you as a business as well. So, yeah, in some respects, it's like an old-fashioned technique. Because I bet you, if we probably speak to our grandparents, they were probably doing these sorts of things in the 60s and 70s, very manual. And then unfortunately, they got taken out to fix, as we said at the start, on a lot of people's doing full-time patterns and then flexible working. And as again, we're getting a maturing place now for the role what resource planning can do. We start to understand actually these small pockets of times, different shift lengths on different days can work. And so, yeah, really encouraging to see more people giving that a go.
It's interesting to see how it evolves as well with the sort of general return to office mandate coming in certain contact centers, how
Hmm.
that affects shift patterns, which have been so flexible with the increase in work from home over the last couple of years as well. I say last couple of years, I've just realized we're in 2025 and 2020 was 5 years ago somehow.
Yeah, but on that line though, so 5 years ago when it sort of started, but actually it went on for 2 years. So in some respects, we're still sort of still getting used to some of those things. But you're absolutely right, Xander. And on that point, the longer shift length may be more appropriate when in the office for
Mm.
because of helping with that things like the commuting time, or even just around bus timetable, train timetable, getting a car parking space, which again are the new frustrations, aren't they, or the re-emergence of those frustrations. And again, just because someone's working from home, that might be better for them to work a longer shift with a split shift because it works. And I think this is the key to all of these things is thinking about how can you utilize a range of techniques that are appropriate to be used at different times. So they can't all be used all of the time. Definitely not one size fits all, but for certain individuals at certain times, these are really useful to do. So what we would always encourage people to is pilot it. Give it a go. Don't fix it in anyone's contract. Just give it a go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what works well. Let's see what doesn't work. And then out of that, we can work out what we can sort of build into maybe our strategic shifts alongside our tactical solutions. So yeah, I think the survey results have been, I think I would describe them best as encouraging to see more people trying different things.
I think it's important to carry on that momentum as well. One of the things I was going to close out with you today was let's put ourselves in the mindset of a CX leader in their contact
Mm.
center. What would your key takeaways be from this data? But I think you've touched on one of those points really nicely there. It's right. Start those pilot programs, see what works for you. It's not a one size fits all situation. Your situation will be unique to you.
Definitely. Yeah, never think a shift review is going to solve things.
Mm.
Everything is constantly under review all the time. You're testing, you're learning, you're using, often planning different people against different customers. So it needs to keep evolving. I think it's really important that you do sort of question, are you just designing your shifts around outdated constraints or even worse, just outdated attitudes? And just thinking about have you explored flexibility in a different way? There's so many options that are out there, and it's worth giving them a go. So do it on a pilot stage, as we've said, and then think about how you can build things into more of a strategic shift review plan.